Hello YouTube, this is Todd Martin. I'm back from Solid Shell Security. Um, Back for another video. This is the first actual programming video for C++, so I've already talked a little bit about C++, and we'll talk a little bit more as it goes along. First thing I'm going to do, as you can see, I have a new little IDE here. Development blog should be C++, not C, but it's all good. So I'm going to go ahead and save this file so that way I can have syntax highlighting. It's the only thing I really don't like about this place to write code, but other than that, I kind of like it. Alright, so to have a C++ source file, it has to be .cpp. Save that. Open that up. Alright, so let's get to the initial. This video is we're gonna do a hello world, and I'm going to explain the basic structure of a C++ program. All right. Oh, I already made a mistake. You probably saw me. Alright, because that's where it gets confusing, because I used to do C programming, and in C to start off. It's probably going a little bit over the head in a way. But that used to be the first line of code there, but don't worry about that, because that's C and this is C++. Alright. Alright, so this is the basic structure of a very basic C programming language. So first we start off, we have this this include IOStream. This is basically like, if you saw my Python programming tutorials, this is pretty much like a library or module. So it's pre-made code with already set up stuff in it, like you'll see in a minute. Then we have a namespace standard, which is kind of like the same thing as a library or module in many ways. So so it's also like a library and module, but not exact. So kind of keep that in mind. Alright, before I continue, you'll see many different ways of organizing C and C++ programs. This is generally kind of a convention you see in Java. I like coding my code this way a little bit better with the spacing out and doing the bracket. You'll see a lot of people do that and then write their code. It's just personal preference. So you can write your code like that or like that. If you guys watch the Python programming tutorials, you guys can already see a difference. Within Python, there is no semicolons. In C, Java, C++, many programming languages, most statements will end with a semicolon. Alright, if you notice right here, this green, I put the 2 slashes. This is a comment in the C programming language. Another way to do a comment. This is a multi-line comment, so I can type and simple enough. Comments just basically tell the compiler to ignore that code. Texts are annoying. Alright. Yep, been in boot camp for 8 months. Only been out for about 2 or 3 weeks, and I'm already starting to hate cell phones again. To a degree. Actually, I think I'm hating cell phones more than I ever did. Alright. Alright, something you're going to see if you look around online and see other Hello Worlds. You're going to see something like this. And I'll explain what a lot of this is. I basically just kind of simplified it for us in many ways. By go ahead and declaring this namespace, it keeps us from having to do this. So if we're writing a big long program and we're going to have to use namespace std a whole lot, then it's a whole lot easier to go ahead and declare namespace std up here than it is to do this little prefix before everything. To me, I just always do it to get into the habit, because later on we'll be using a lot of the std namespace. And STD does not stand for sexually transmitted disease. So I'm going to save this. Alright, so I'm going to explain this really quick. Got that. So we have a main function. The main function, the compiler is going to ignore everything before it until it sees main. This is whenever it knows, okay, it's time to actually start running the code. So we have this main function that has parameters, which for this program are empty, and then we have these curly brackets that say, okay, here's where the function starts, here's where the function ends. So we have our main function here. Cout, I like to think of it, the best way to memorize it to me is think of computer out. So it's simply going to tell the computer to print out this information whenever it's compiled. And then I won't get into what I was just thinking about until a video or two for now. So we have these brackets, or not brackets, but we have these arrows. Then we have in these quotation marks hello world, and then we end the line. That's what that means. ENDL means end line. All right. Change directory to. All right. Now to be able to use the G++ compiler, right, make sure you don't use GCC because that is the C compiler. You need to use G++ if you are using the GNU or the GCC GNU compiler. So you use that, and we'll type in our source file, and it will compile for us. List, and for many Unix systems and Mac, it automatically the compiled file will be a.out. So to run a.out, which this is an executable, to run it we do the /a.out right there, hello world. Now to show you what I was talking about earlier with this, I'll switch it back. Compile. I don't do this too often. Cout is not declared in the scope. May fumble around with it a little bit. Alright, so I'm not exactly going to worry about it. Just know it's best to get into the habit of doing it. I'll probably cover it later on. But if you see some hello worlds, you'll see some that are like that, where we'll have like a STD, something like that before the cout. And it's basically the same thing. So, make sure everything right. Alright, so that is your basic hello world in C++. So it's a lot more than Python, a lot more organization to it in many ways. Python has some pretty strict rules on its formatting, but not like C++. So this is your hello world for C++.